Welcome to the best pasta bake ever. So this is a wonderful creamy broccoli pasta bake. It's vegan, it's gluten-free, it takes about 35 minutes to make, and we have mushrooms, we have leeks in it, and it's also low Fodmap. So it means that it's great for your digestion, it's low in fermentable carbohydrates, it's super tasty, it's banging, it's vegan, it's plant-based, it's gluten-free.
Here we go!
Woo! Okay, first step, we've got 2 pots. So I'm gonna put one big pot, it's on a medium heat, and I'm gonna make a bechamel. So this is gonna make the creamy sauce. This is gonna be vegan, it's really good and tasty.
Bechamel sauce originates from France. Typically what we're gonna start with is making a roux. So it's equal part fat and starch. So we're putting 5 tablespoons of olive oil.
Okay, 5 tablespoons of olive oil.
5 tablespoons, we wanna make this gluten-free, so we're using rice flour. So 5 tablespoons of rice flour or gluten-free white flour, whichever you have. So mix that together, and what we're doing here is we're making a roux. So this is equal part fat and starch, and what we're trying to do here is we're trying to just cook off that kind of raw flour note. Okay, time to bring this together. So we're taking 1 liter of oat milk. Obviously this is gluten-free. You could use 1 liter of rice or any type of a non-dairy milk of choice.
So in terms of low Fodmap, they say it's 125 ml of oat milk per serving. This will obviously reduce, and once we bake it in the oven, it'll reduce more. So this pasta base, I'd say on average will feed about 6 people, I would say, hungry humans.
So in this, I'm gonna pinch of black pepper.
We've got 4 tablespoons of nutritional yeast. So nutritional yeast, you'll get it in most health food stores. It will give that cheesy note to our bechamel, which is great.
Nutmeg, traditionally used in a French bechamel, just adds a nice aromatic note that kind of elevates it. And I go in with 2 bay leaves, also known as sweet laurel. So what's happening here is Dave's trying to bring the bechamel sauce to the white sauce to the boil, and as it boils, moisture is going to evaporate, the starch is going to release, and it's going to want to thicken naturally. So what Dave is just kind of stirring it so it doesn't stick to the bottom. While that's happening, I'm going to start with our greens.
Obviously you can use other plant milks, and I think almond milk is an even better low Fodmap milk if you want to use that. We used oat milk instead.
So we've got a pan on high heat. This is a wide bottom large pan. I'm going to go with 1 tablespoon of oil. I've got a bunch of scallions. In terms of low Fodmap, we can't use onion and garlic. So as the base, we're going to use the green of leek and the green of scallions.
So Fodmap, in case you're wondering, means fermentable oligosaccharide, disaccharide, monosaccharide, and polyols, which sounds very technical. But what it means is it's all the kind of fermentable carbohydrates that cause gas in your tummy, make it difficult for it to digest. They're irritable for anyone with IBS, and they can cause difficulties for people's tummies. So by cooking a low Fodmap recipe, it's going to be really easier in digestion. There'll be much less gas, and they're great for people with IBS or IBD or any kind of...
or anyone who wants to try to increase their fiber intake and wants to avoid gas. So in goes our 1 bunch of scallions, also known as spring onions in the UK.
So we've left the white off at the end of the scallions because scallion is part of the allium family, so the white of it is the bit that's actually a Fodmap. Same with leek. We've prepped 1 leek here, and we've just kept the white of the leek out of it. So we just prepped the green of the leek because the white is the Fodmap, the high Fodmap piece of the vegetable.
Okay, I have 200 grams of mushrooms. I'm using oyster mushrooms because oyster mushrooms is the only mushroom that has been tested to be low Fodmap.
By Monash University in Melbourne, Australia.
So I'm just chopping them in kind of large chunks.
Can I interrupt you there?
Yes, sir.
So our bechamel here is kind of done. I'm knocking it off the heat. See the way it's come to temperature, it's starting boiling and bubbling. I'm going to leave it sit there, and it's going to thicken and get even more delicious and yummy. So we fried in the tops of the scallions for probably a minute or so. I'm going to add in the tops of the leeks of the green, or greens of the leek. It's approximately about 100 grams or so.
So I have now 200 grams of oyster mushrooms. In these go into the pan.
Oyster mushroom is a more kind of grizzly, meaty, substantial mushroom.
Tamari and oyster mushrooms is a marriage made in heaven. I'm going to go with 2 tablespoons of tamari. So we're going to spread that around and really try to get the oyster mushrooms to absorb that flavour. Okay, next step, I have 250 grams of broccoli that I've chopped into little florets. We're going to go with a generous pinch of salt. And now, just to enable it just to cook quicker, I've got a little bit of water. I'm going to go with about 50 ml of water. I'm going to pour it into the pan. I'm going to take the lid, and we're allowed to steam for 5 to 10 minutes. I'm just going to steam the broccoli and cook it naturally. It's going to puff up the leek. Steamed leek is one of the most incredible vegetable ever.
Now, how we got into low Fodmap cooking was we partnered with a friend who's a gastroenterologist, so he's a digestion doctor, Dr. Alan Desmond. And we partnered with Al and a dietitian, a plant-based dietitian, Rosie Martin. And we came up with this 6-week course, which we call a Happy Gut course. We've now had about 5,000 people through it since we started in January.
From all over the world.
It gets a 96% recommendation rate. It gets an 80% reduction in people with IBS, and it's all a whole food, plant-based, low FODMAP approach. It gets incredible results, and it's great.
It's a great way if anyone who wants to suddenly start moving to a plant-based diet and is kind of afraid of IBS, IBD, and other digestive issues.
Yeah, it's brilliant. Gets fantastic results. So do check that out. I'll leave a link down below to it. It's really good.
And stay tuned. We'll put some testimonials at the end of the video. Okay, so we have cooked the broccoli for about 10 minutes, just until it's soft and it's kind of ready to go. Easiest way of checking that it's cooked is just take a little flour.
Okay, so what we've done is we've taken 200 grams of dry gluten-free pasta.
So ideally use brown rice pasta. It is the tastiest gluten-free pasta you will get. It genuinely tastes like the same thing.
We boiled it, it's perfect, it's ready, we're good to go.
Okay, so in on top of we're gonna use just a simple baking tray. We've seasoned our bechamel. I put in a teaspoon of salt in there. Just boom, lovely. Now it's time to bring this dish together.
Our veg is fried down. It's really easy to bring this together now.
So in go our veg.
This is a great dish for all the family. If you've got friends coming over, it's perfect for the weekend. It's great for breakfast if you're really hungry.
And it's a great one if you have any digestive issues and you're kind of like, you're afraid you're going to be eating nothing but rabbit food. This is really tasty. It's one I ate with my kids and they loved it during the week. So it's a really tasty, all-encompassing, inclusive recipe.
And obviously it's super nutritious with all those greens in it. And then the bechamel is super tasty as well.
Okay, now in goes our bechamel.
So in on top of that, we're going to pour the bechamel on top.
So this is super creamy, and if you're worried, oh, that's too messy, don't worry. As it bakes, the pasta's going to release its starch, it's going to thicken lysine, the bechamel's going to reduce.
Now, final touches before we put it in the oven. We have
40 grams of gluten-free breadcrumbs. Simply take gluten-free bread, toast it, crumble it up in a food processor until you have gluten-free breadcrumbs.
We're going to pop a good sprinkling of these on top.
I have a tablespoon of flaked almonds. I'm just going to spread them out through it. They're going to crisp up nicely, add a nice little variety of texture. A little pinch of salt. And last and final note is a little bit of oil. Just going to encourage more
toasting,
more caramelization.
So this, as I said, should serve at least 6 people. We've got the oven preheated to 180 degrees. I'm going to bake this for about 25-30 minutes.
So our pasta bake has been in the oven for about 15 minutes. The main indicator that it's cooked is just that it's browned and gone crispy on the top.
And the room starts to smell wonderful, aromatic.
That's right. Oh, look at that. Beautiful. Boom. So you see the nuts have kind of caramelized beautifully, the breadcrumbs have crisped up. This smells epic!
Low Fodmap pasta bake. Okay, you ready for your portion? I'll take that as a yes. Here we go. Wow, this looks gooey, yummy, delicious, succulent. Yes, yes, yes.
Great way of getting more grains into you, and because you're using wholemeal pasta, it's just that little bit healthier.
Yeah, the brown rice one's really good.
Low Fodmap, creamy, pasta bake for digestive superpower.
Yeah, it really is. And if you're looking for more details, our online course is called Happy Gut Course, happygutcourse.com. Amazing results, do check it out. There's loads of kind of really good recipes. I think we've got over 60 low FODMAP recipes.
And they're all plant-based and designed to be easy and delicious.
More details down below.
It's really tasty, really nourishing, tastes light, tastes kind of all together, really delicious.
Share this with anyone you think would like some low FODMAP recipes, particularly family-friendly ones like this, that are full of greens and delicious.
The mushrooms add a wonderful bite.
Yeah, it's really good.
Thank you for watching. Stay tuned for a couple of testimonials in our Happy Gut course. Details down below to sign up. And wishing you a wonderful day of digestive superpower. Yes!